of illegal practices at a local Border Patrol checkpoint. Tonight we hear from an active duty border agent who is speaking out.
He claims that they are violating citizens' constitutional rights. San Diego 6's Susana Franco sat down with the agent for this exclusive interview. Susana.
For Jim and Netta, blatant violations of the law by Border Patrol supervisors and agents at the Campo checkpoint on Interstate 8. This active duty agent making these accusations says he wants to expose the improper practices because he made an oath to uphold the law, no matter who's breaking it.
So right now he's being arrested, and there's no reason or cause to do so.
Border Patrol agent Michael Flanders contacted San Diego 6 News to speak out against what he says are illegal practices at the Interstate 8 checkpoint in Pine Valley. To get his point across, he shows us this YouTube video of Robert Trudell, an Arizona man who was arrested after refusing to comply with agents at the I-8 checkpoint.
Mr. Trudell broke no law here. Again, he's not obligated to answer any questions.
In fact, Agent Flanders says it's his constitutional right to refuse to answer any questions or even pull over to secondary inspection.
There was nothing that gave us probable cause whatsoever to do what he did. It's false arrest and false imprisonment, and that supervisor did commit a criminal act.
Criminal acts that more and more agents are committing, according to Flanders.
I was conducting a secondary inspection of a vehicle, and I was speaking with the driver and the passenger, and a fellow agent walks around to the other side, the passenger side window, starts banging on the window and demanding that he roll it down and ordered him to give some ID.
He says the situation escalated to the point where a verbal altercation ensued between himself and the other agent.
And I told him, hey, you can't be doing this to these people.
Hey, what's your name?
Mike.
Mike, glad to meet you. I'm Robert. Filming? Making a movie.
What you're doing is unconstitutional. It upset me because we actually don't have the authority to command somebody to give us their ID or roll down the window, especially when there's no probable cause.
After speaking out on this case and several others, Agent Flanders says he's been banned indefinitely from working at the I-8 checkpoint. Now he's on ATV patrol.
Completely banned from that. I'm not allowed to go there at all. And while the other guys who I spoke out against their illegal actions, they were able to continue just doing their normal daily routine.
We wanted to see for ourselves how agents handled motorists exercising their constitutional rights, so we drove to the checkpoint. Here's what happened.
Where's Border Patrol? Can you guys state your citizenship for me?
Do we have to?
Not really, but you guys, I have to determine if you guys are citizens or not. After
refusing to answer several times, here's what happened next. Are you sending us to secondary?
Yes, I am.
Why is that?
I have some removed suspicions. That's all I need for immigration purposes.
At secondary, we explained to the supervisor who we were, and he quickly let us go.
Sounds like a job for the PIO.
Well, in fact, we did speak with Border Patrol Assistant Chief Rosario Vasquez. He goes in depth on the authority agents have at checkpoints and explains why you may be sent to secondary if you refuse to answer an agent's questions. We'll have that full response for you tomorrow night at 10. For now, live in the newsroom, Susana Franco, San Diego 6 News.
Interesting piece. Look forward to part 2. Thank you, Susana. Accusations the Border Patrol is violating your rights at inland checkpoints. Last night, we introduced you to an active duty agent who is speaking out what he calls blatant violations of the law.
Tonight, the response from Border Patrol. San Diego 6's Susana Franco joins us live with her continuing investigation. Susana?
Well, Jim and Netta, in many ways, this comes down to a tug-of-war between the 4th and 5th Amendments of the Constitution. One protecting Border Patrol agents, the other protecting motorists.
It's false arrest and false imprisonment, and that supervisor did commit a criminal act.
Border Patrol agent Michael Flanders contacted San Diego 6 News to speak out against what he says are illegal practices at the Interstate 8 checkpoint in Pine Valley.
They said that, okay, we are banning you indefinitely from the checkpoint.
As a result, he says he's now under review for alleged misconduct, a move he sees as retaliation.
I can't discuss any allegations that are ongoing.
We sat down with Border Patrol Assistant Chief Rosario Vasquez to discuss the allegations made by Agent Flanders. While he says he can't talk about the case, he does explain what the procedure is when an employee is under review.
Normal procedure would be to remove that employee out of that environment until that investigation is conducted and concluded.
As for an agent's authority at these internal checkpoints, Vasquez was willing to speak in depth.
Checkpoint authority has gone through Supreme Court and has been upheld. The U.S. versus Martinez Puerto case, a brief stop to determine immigration status is not a violation of the First Amendment.
At least in regard to questioning. However, the court added checkpoint searches are constitutional only if justified by consent or probable cause. Meantime, the Border Patrol's own guidelines state a subject's bad attitude or refusal to answer questions does not constitute reasonable suspicion and does not justify detention. Still, Agent Vasquez says things aren't always black and white.
The agent at that time has to make a determination. Does he believe that there's criminal activity going on? Does he believe that the person driving that car is in this country illegally? Now, to send that person to secondary, if he does believe that they are illegal or anything, it's not a probable cause situation.
We ask, what about citizens who plead the Fifth and refuse to answer questions or go to secondary?
All of this is still under review and there are ongoing lawsuits with it, but it comes down to the individual agent at the point. At the time, they have to gather their own articulable facts and look at every case individually.
Agent Vasquez says checkpoints are in place for a reason, and refusing to answer the questions can be interpreted as suspicious behavior.
If they determine maybe that person is refusing to answer the questions because they are committing some type of crime, then we can send them to secondary or take further action.
His advice?
If you're going through the checkpoint, it's just easier. Roll down your window, answer a 2-second question, and then be on your way.
But Agent Flanders maintains you're protected by the Constitution and don't have to answer any questions. Knowing that you can possibly lose your job, you still want to conduct it?
Yes, it's important. I'd rather honor the oath that I made.
Well, Agent Flanders' review is currently ongoing, and he is soliciting help from the ACLU. Meantime, Agent Vasquez says motorists can always file a complaint with Border Patrol if you feel your rights have been violated. For more information on how you can do just that, go to our website, SanDiego6.com. Live in the newsroom tonight, Susana Franco, San Diego 6 News.
Checkpoint.
Tonight we've got exclusive video taken at a checkpoint in Campo. Our Susana Franco joins us with the details.
The man you're about to meet did not want to be identified, but he tells me he passes through this checkpoint some 6 times a week. He says he carries a camera to protect his rights, and his most recent video shows a questionable exchange. Caught on camera.
He just went and picked up food from a truck that was driving by.
This Boulevard resident captures a Border Patrol agent along the Interstate 8 checkpoint in Campo, taking some containers from this Pacific Foods delivery truck.
The traffic came to a stop, and one of the Border Patrol supervisors actually walked over to a commercial vehicle and took possession of some food.
The agent then walks over and sets the goods on top of a dumpster. What may seem an innocent transaction has this man asking questions.
Being federal agents at a checkpoint, it just didn't seem right to me that they would be accepting anything from a passing vehicle in any way. Nobody would know if it's considered a bribe or just trying to get in their good graces for a vehicle that's passing through on a regular basis.
In fact, the Border Patrol's own standards of conduct state employees will not directly or indirectly solicit or accept gifts, money, or anything of value with their employment with CBP.
He's writing down my license plate. The agent saw that I was holding the camera up to the window and then took out a pad of paper out of his pocket and came around the corner of the vehicle that was in his way and proceeded to write down my license plate number, which I found very odd.
It's not only this odd behavior that has him concerned. He says his constitutional rights are frequently being violated.
You're a citizen? Yep. Did the dog alerted to your vehicle?
No, it didn't. During the time that I videotaped, the dog never gave any indication of my vehicle.
He contacted San Diego 6 after our report with active duty Border Patrol agent Mike Flanders, who openly spoke to us about what he calls blatant violations of the law at this particular checkpoint. He says this type of harassment is taxing for someone who crosses almost daily.
They almost make you feel as though you're a criminal with the line of questioning they have. It becomes very tiresome to do it 6 days a week. And so you start to try to exercise your rights.
We did send a copy of this video to the Border Patrol at their request, but so far they have only responded with a general statement about their commitment, honor, and integrity. We also contacted Pacific Foods Distribution. They say they prohibit any of their employees from handing out food. Susana Franco, San Diego 6 News.
Hey, how's it going? I saw a like a Renegade ATM on the GPS on the Google Maps, huh?
An ATM?
Yeah.
There's a. Show you going that way.
Well, I was just looking for the ATM. It was like on this map somewhere.
There's a gas station up here.
Well, they didn't have the right kind, and I was running out of gas, so I was told I'd be reimbursed for coming down here, and with this ATM that was over here, like a Dennis Doherty told me there was an ATM just on the other side of this thing.
There's another gas station down all the way by the border.
Yeah, but it looked like it was like by the Oregon Pipe Cactus between here.
There's
No?
There's no ATM here.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Hi.
I was here to see Renegade Technologies at 7880 North 71st Street.
Okay. Who's the resident?
Is Dennis Doherty?
Okay. That name doesn't sound familiar. Renegade Technologies?
Group, yeah.
Pardon me?
It's called Renegade Technologies Group.
What's the address?
7880 North 71st Street.
Burbick or something?
I didn't really know the name. I was just told to come here and talk to the Renegade Technologies Group.
Okay. What is your name?
My name's Robert Trudell.
Robert Trudell?
Trudell, Trudell.
Okay, you're trying to reach a resident Verbic. The Renegade Technology resident has been gone for years. The house has been sold 2 or 3 times since, and so it's been a long time. So, yeah, I don't have anything forwarding for that. I mean, it's been like a really long time. Yeah. Very bizarre. Okay. It just keeps cropping up every once in a while, and I feel bad because the resident that lives in the house is only here certain times, and I called his cell phone, And he said, oh, I bet that's for Verdict or something. He said, yeah, just tell him the guy doesn't live here anymore. I said, I don't know the name, but he said Renegade Technology. And he goes, yeah, that was his company from years ago. So that person doesn't live here anymore. But I called the resident at that house, and he said, I constantly get all these people looking for this resident from years ago.
All right, thank you. I
Right.
appreciate the help.
Okay. So anyway, that was a long story.
I like stories.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Gray area, if you will, between the Fourth and Fifth Amendments in this case and what motorists can do.
Welcome to law. Because
Right.
law is
Not
just,
black and white.
it's not black and white. It's so gray, and it's so riddled with ambiguity, because there's just no one line that you can draw in the United States ways of doing with our legal system. So not different from what we see with checkpoints on DUI issues, what we see on 4th of July and during the holidays and other times. The Supreme Court has said they're illegal. You can have checkpoints just wherever to determine or help determine whether or not there's illegal activity going on, whether it be drinking or immigration issues or whatever. So, but the question here, which is really interesting, and your piece was fabulous. I got to tell you, you did a heck of a good job in eliciting really important information that people need to understand. I don't know that I would go around telling people as a lawyer, just don't answer any questions and say I got the Fifth Amendment. You're just asking for trouble. You know, the Border Patrol person in this case has a lot of leeway. As he said on that piece, they will make the decision whether to go to secondary. They will make the decision whether there's detention. It may or may not be legal, but you won't find that out till later on. And do you want to waste a lot of time? I would say that, I wouldn't test the system if it were me, because I got more things to do than waste my time. On the other hand, these people have an enormous amount of power. Enormous amount of power, and unfortunately, sometimes that power might be abused. And I do think that somewhere, somehow, you have to have a checklist. You have to have some criteria, a little bit more than it's up to the agent to decide. That's tough, because a lot of agents and police officers kind of are in it somewhat for power, and then they're giving them a lot more when they go into this. So the Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, right to probable cause and search and seizure versus freedom of speech, freedom to not speak, those are always issues that we have to struggle with in the law game that we play.
Right, and these motorists who are choosing to practice their constitutional rights, their Fifth Amendment, to remain silent, the issue here, the reason the agent came forward, is that they're being aggressive toward them. They're breaking their windows, as we saw in that video. And while I agree with you, we don't advise people to say, don't answer their questions. They're there for a reason. Checkpoints are there for a reason, to catch the bad guy.
That's right.
And so you don't want to seem suspect, but still, there are those people who say, I don't have to answer this, and they act aggressively toward them. What can they do?
Yeah, well, legally they don't have to answer those. I'm talking more practical, But on the other side of the coin, I mean, breaking a window for not rolling that window down right away, or for not talking, that can be criminal. That can be significantly enough to pause the situation, to say, what's going on here? I guess what I'm saying from a practical level is, do you really want to go out and test it? You can, and some people will, and they have every legal right to do that. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that you're opening the door.
You don't want to get yourself into trouble.
Well, you may have a place to go, and you may not be able to get there. But having said that, that does not say that any officer, Border Patrol officer, has the right to abuse the system, to break a window, to overuse the power that they have.
Okay, before we wrap up this segment, we are so lucky to have you on our air every single week. But this March 17th, not only the Luck of the Irish Day of March, for St. Patrick's Day, also a day of seminars, living trust seminars with Jeff Wright.
It's a little different. Well, it actually is related to what we just talked about in some ways, and that is to how to get the government out of your life.
Right.
And that's what we talk about. And we're talking estate planning, and it's not boring stuff. We're doing 4 of them, the 17th and the 18th, and we're going to be in all over the county, Bonita and Mission Valley and Carlsbad and El Cajon, and it's on the website, LawyerInBlueJeans.com. But we talk, and what I do, and I'm giving all 4 of them, I talk about how we can get the government and lawyers out of our life and us be in control. That's everything we talk about all the time on our segment. So we encourage everybody to go. It's free, and it's the 17th, which is a week from Monday and Tuesday. And yes, St. Patrick's Day, maybe we'll have some little green clovers to
There
go.
you are. What an incredible resource.
All right, Jeff Isaac,
I'll see
Lawyer
you
Blue
tomorrow.
Jeans. Thanks for being with us.